Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. You can listen to the show anywhere, iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial, the WTN app. You can watch the show. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Find us on YouTube. Jump in the YouTube chat. Join the conversation. Hit like, hit subscribe. And I just want to thank everybody for coming through moments ago for me to get us over the hump at 9,000. Listen, Dan's going to try and take credit for that, but we all know.
It started on his show.
But it finished. Yeah. It finished when I showed
on your
up.
Show.
It finished when I showed up. Mm-hmm. So, and we got to hear the great Joan Jones execute just a thunderous cheer.
Thunderous, yeah. It's been a few years since the cheer,
And Joan Jones is back. Welcome back. Joan, you had a good vacation?
Thank you. Had a great vacation, yeah.
I love it. You got to hang out with the grandkids.
The grandkids, the kids, the whole fam. It was great.
I love it. So Joan Jones is back in the dust-encrusted news closet. We are grateful for that. Mason Fleming is producing along with the new guy, Louie, and they're doing a great job back there. We got a lot to cover today. Trump announced a new travel ban. Obviously, he's an evil, racist orange man who just doesn't like brown people. I mean, that's what the Democrats are going to be saying today. That's what we're going to hear from leftist mainstream media. I think NPR was already reporting that as well. Oh, so racist. What a racist. But it's not. It's about safety. Trump has announced a travel ban and restrictions on 19 countries that is going to go into effect by Monday. This is from the AP. The ban takes effect Monday, 12:01 a.m., a cushion that may avoid the chaos that unfolded at airports nationwide when a similar measure took effect with virtually no notice in 2017. Trump, who signaled plans for a new ban upon taking office in January, appears to be on firmer ground this time after the Supreme Court sided with him. Some, but not all, 12 countries also appeared on the list of banned countries in Trump's first term. Here's the list of the new banned countries. You ready? If you're keeping score at home, you're going to know a lot of these countries. Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, the Republic of Congo, not Chad Benson, just Chad. The Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. There's also going to be heightened restrictions on visitors from Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. Obviously, Trump is doing this because he's just evil. Evil. It has nothing to do with the safety and the security of the American people. This has nothing to do with what we saw in Boulder, where an illegal alien, an immigrant became an illegal alien when he overstayed his visa and then committed a brutal terror attack. It's got to have to do with the racism, right? Donald Trump announced this last night. He put a video out on the whitehouse.gov Twitter. This is his statement on the travel restrictions that he announced last night. Donald J. Trump live in the Oval Office.
Back in Boulder, Colorado, has underscored the extreme dangers posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted, as well as those who come here as temporary visitors and overstay their visas. We don't want them. In the 21st century, we've seen one terror attack after another carried out by foreign visa overstayers from dangerous places all over the world. And thanks to Biden's open door policies, today there are millions and millions of these illegals who should not be in our country. In my first term, my powerful travel restrictions were one of our most successful policies, and they were a key part of preventing major foreign terror attacks on American soil. We will not let what happened in Europe happen to America. That's why on my first day back in office, I directed the Secretary of State to perform a security review of high-risk regions and make recommendations for where restrictions should be imposed.
I love that he said we're not going to allow what happened in Europe to happen to America, because you understand exactly what's been happening in Europe. They have been flooded with immigrants from Africa and from the Middle East. A lot of Muslims. It has fundamentally changed Europe completely. J.D. Vance had a great interview a while back, and he was like, He's like, Europe and Germany, they're going to be mad at us for the stances we take, but, whatever. They're essentially killing themselves with the mass migration that they're enabling. And these countries are no longer recognizable. Paris doesn't look like a place in France. It just doesn't. And you can do the same thing with London. You can do the same thing with many, many cities across Europe. These regions have been decimated by the mass migration. We don't want that happening here. We want migration. We want immigrants. That's fine as long as you have things in your backpack like love of the American dream, the American values. But when you're coming in with competing ideology and your goal is to fundamentally change America, well, you're not welcome. So they looked at this. They found out where and what countries should have restrictions, and then they made the list and released it.
Among the national security threats their analysis considered are the large-scale presence of terrorists, failure to cooperate on visa security, inability to verify travelers' identities, inadequate record-keeping of criminal histories, and persistently high rates of illegal visa overstays, and other things. Very simply, we cannot have open migration from any country where we cannot safely and reliably vet and screen those who seek to enter the United States. That is why today I am signing a new executive order placing travel restrictions on countries including Yemen, Somalia, Haiti, Libya, and numerous others. The strength of the restrictions we're applying depends on the severity of the threat posed. The list is subject to revision based on whether material improvements are made, and likewise, new countries can be added as threats emerge around the world. But we will not allow people to enter our country who wish to do us harm, and nothing will stop us from keeping America safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Trump. I'm here for it. And a lot of those countries that he mentioned, I mean, these countries are not in the best shape. One of the things that this list of countries all had in common is they all tend to be assholes. And when you import the third world, you become the third world. And the problem with the third world is that when we're importing these individuals into our country, they have no record keeping. And some of it is their own fault. Other countries, it's because they've just been torn apart by war and devastation. They just don't have the infrastructure to keep these records. It's funny. They talk about, if we don't know who you are, we don't know your criminal history, how can we let you in? That's such a good point. I had a friend who, this guy was a record rep, and we worked together for a few years, but he had gotten a DUI in New Orleans, right? And it was gonna completely ruin his life. He was gonna lose his job, everything. And right as he was about to head down to New Orleans for court, well, a hurricane came through, Hurricane Katrina. They lost all of his records. So the DUI that he had been charged with essentially was no more. Now zoom out. That's one guy in America, right? Zoom out and do it in a country that's been torn apart by a civil war for years. You understand why this would be an issue with record keeping. So it's just insane. Thank you, President Trump, for doing what you're doing. And one of the countries on this list, Trump may be bringing Vladimir Putin along for negotiations with. He put out this post on Truth Social. He had a conversation with Vladimir Putin yesterday on the phone. He said it lasted about an hour and 15 minutes, where they talked about peace, and that's probably not going to happen. But he also talked about Iran. He said, I just finished speaking by telephone with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. The call lasted approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes. We discussed the attack on Russia's docked airplanes by Ukraine and also various other attacks that have been taking place by both sides. It was a good conversation, but not a conversation that will lead to immediate peace. President Putin did say, and very strongly, that he will have to respond to the recent attack on the airfields. So that's something to keep an eye on. Very strong response incoming. But then he went on to say, we also discussed Iran and the fact that time is running out on Iran's decision pertaining to nuclear weapons, which must be made quickly. I stated to President Putin that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And on this, I believe that we were in agreement. President Putin suggested that he will participate in the discussions with Iran and that he could perhaps be helpful in getting this brought to a rapid conclusion. It is my opinion that Iran has been slow-walking their decision on this very important matter and will need a definitive answer in a very short period of time. So while the conversation yesterday didn't lead to peace between Russia and Ukraine, and it doesn't look like that's coming anytime soon, it does seem like the relationship between Putin and Trump is on pretty good ground right now. It does seem like they're getting along, which is great because when you look at what happened in Ukraine or in Russia via Ukraine, right, with the drone attacks, I have such a hard time believing that the United States had nothing to do with that. And I have a hard time believing that Russia thinks the United States had nothing to do with that. And I don't want to get involved in World War III over Ukraine. I don't. I think that's stupid. I think it's so dumb. But when you look at it, the day before the visit, it's like the day before the attack on Russia, Ukraine had Mike Pompeo visit, the former CIA director, Secretary of State, and he had his security clearances revoked by Trump also. And they also had Lindsey Graham visit. So you have these neocons popping up in Ukraine mysteriously, randomly the day before this attack. I could understand how Putin would be like, you guys absolutely had something to do with this. But it appears, at least according to this Truth Social post, that they seem to be on good ground, and Putin is going to be even willing to talk to Iran with President Trump. So something to keep an eye on, something that we'll definitely be paying attention to here at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Now, Trump also officially has restricted foreign visas for Harvard international students. I love this story. I'm a huge fan of this story. Harvard is going to lose a lot of money into that. I say good. But I also understand that we shouldn't be educating our enemies, especially when it comes to Chinese nationals. I have a huge issue with allowing Chinese nationals to come into America, go to our universities. We educate them, in some cases for free, and then we send them back to China with all of this intel. I think it's dumb. Well, Trump has signed a proclamation to at least suspend visas for Harvard and their new international students. CNN has the story. President Trump has signed a proclamation to suspend international visas for new students at Harvard University, the White House announced Wednesday, in a dramatic escalation of its efforts to block foreign nationals from enrolling at elite universities. I love how they say it like that. What a dramatic effort. He's doing the right thing. You understand that, right? No matter what Trump does, they're going to find a way to make it seem like he's doing something evil. But this is a good move. We shouldn't be educating our enemies. The proclamation temporarily blocks the entry of nearly all new international Harvard students under visas most used to study at U.S. universities or participate in academic exchange programs. It also directs the Secretary of State to consider revoking those visas, known as F, M, and J visas, for current Harvard students who meet the proclamation's criteria, the White House said in a statement. The move throws Harvard's ability to enroll international students into a tailspin. The international students make up about 27% of Harvard's student body. So this is going to affect their bottom line. And to that, I say good. I say good. Screw you guys. While Harvard argued in legal filings that the White House orders were behind the Department of Homeland Security's effort to revoke its ability to host international students, this is the first time Trump has gotten directly involved in the dispute at the center of this broader battle against elite U.S. academics. You say elite, other people would tend to disagree. Harvard will continue to protect its international students, a spokesperson told CNN. This is yet another illegal retaliatory step taken by the administration in violation of Harvard's First Amendment rights. How is that your First Amendment right? To educate foreign students? That's First Amendment? I don't know, maybe. I have a hard time wrapping my head around that. I don't see it. Do you see it? I don't see it. Harvard is battling the White House right now, two fronts. Universities sued the Trump administration for cutting more than $2.2 billion in federal funds and threatening billions more in cuts, as well as Harvard's tax-exempt status. That money remains frozen as the case is pending in court, scheduled for arguments next month. The White House said the latest move is an attempt to safeguard national security. That's what a lot of these moves look like. Trump wants to keep America safe. That's what he campaigned on. That's what he's doing. That's what it looks like the travel ban's about. That's what it looks like revoking these visas is about. And you can absolutely make the argument that Trump is making America safer with these moves. We got a lot more to cover, including some updates on the Boulder terror attack. Yesterday, we announced that Department of Homeland Security, ICE, they had taken the family of the terrorist who overstayed his visa into custody. They were going to swiftly deport them. Well, they were until an activist federal judge reared its ugly head. We'll talk about it when we get back. It's 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Better Water LLC. We talk about these guys all the time. I mean, the company's run by patriots, good, honest, hardworking people, and they want to do good work for you. So if you got weird smells coming off your water, or if it's staining the clothes when you put it in the washing machine, or if it's just plain old bad tasting water, the guys you need to call, Better Water LLC. They can do some crazy things to your water because you could have some nasty things in your water. Stuff like sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, even E. coli. This is the water that you're drinking, you're bathing your kids and your grandkids in. Are you serious? Don't do that. Even if you're unsure, Better Water will test your water for free. And if they find out that you do have the nasty stuff inside of it, whether you're on city water or well water, well, they have a range of options to fix it. From reverse osmosis, specialized filters, UV lights, water softeners, and more, Better Water has you covered. Local company based out of Smyrna. Give them a call today so you can stop drinking the junk out of your tap. 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063. Or you can check them out online, betterwater.com.
Up ahead, it is a Thursday in June, and the Supreme Court is rolling out some opinions, and why prosecutors think they have a buttoned-up case against Luigi Mangione. Those stories at 9:30 here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's 9:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. We are live. Super Talk TV is happening on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Do us a favor. Help us tickle the algorithm. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit the share button, and jump inside the chat. Over on YouTube, what did somebody say? Somebody said, Snark said, good news. The trolls are here. Bump that algo, baby. Bump that algo. Hey, we get some trolls. We get some trolls occasionally in the YouTube chat. Trolls are welcome. Don't feed them. Bobby in Nashville wants to talk about Trump and Putin. What's up, Bobby? Yo, Bobby, what's up?
Chris. Hey, brother, you're doing a good job, man. Just keep up the good work. But anyway, man, I think Trump's dealing with the devil here, man. I don't think, I don't understand it, man. It's like, where's Israel in this? He's not incorporating Israel in it. Israel's over there close to where all this is going on, and he's trying to make a deal. It seems like behind the scenes with the devil. And
what do you mean with Putin and Iran?
Exactly.
I mean, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, Bob. Israel wants to bomb Iran, right? Like that's what they want. I mean, that's what they want. That's okay. Like that's fine. That's fine. That's what they want. Trump wants peace. So which one is he going to get peace with better, right?
Well, brother, we want peace. There's no doubt. But until you get rid of the uranium over there and all that in Iran, you're not going to have peace, brother.
No, I hear you, but I think that's why you bringing Putin along for those negotiations might actually help. At least I hope so. Doing the same thing that we've been doing wasn't exactly working, right? So trying something different, I don't think is a bad idea.
Well, brother, all we can do is just pray, man.
Amen. Amen. I appreciate appreciate the call, Bobby.
Have a good one.
Thank you, sir. All right, so we do have a lot more to get to. The Boulder terror attack. So the suspect, did you see this? He put out an entire video before the terror attack expressing his desire and his love of Islamic jihad. In the video, he goes through a number of things. It's in his native tongue, but he put it out. There's some subtitles on it. It's been circulating around the internet. But at the end of the video, he says he loves jihad more than he loves his wife and kids. This is what he was waiting for. He's been ready to go, and jihad is the big deal. So we see this, and we see his actions, and we understand that his family is still in this country. So they round up the family. We got some questions to ask. How much did you know? When did you know it? Should the family still be here? Well, DHS decided they were going to deport them almost immediately. That is until a federal judge intervened. Of course they did. Of course they did. We'll talk about that when we get back and take more of your phone calls at 615-737-9986. It's 9:30, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We've got traffic and weather coming right up. Stick around. The Supreme Court has just released several rulings, including one that sided with a straight woman in Ohio who filed a reverse discrimination lawsuit against her employer. Her gay boss declined to promote her because she's straight, according to this woman. Now, the ruling makes it easier to file similar suits. This was a unanimous ruling by the justices. They also ruled on a gun case.
The Supreme Court shut down the Mexican government's lawsuit against American gun makers over violence at the border. I mean, this shields the companies from a suit that could have claimed billions of dollars potentially in damages.
That's CNN's Paula Reed reporting. An update on the Luigi Mangione case. Prosecutors are saying the accused killer of United Healthcare's CEO kept a very detailed journal that they now have their hands on.
4 months before the murder, Mangione allegedly writing, "I finally feel confident about what I will do. The details are coming together, and I don't feel any doubt about whether it's right, justified." He allegedly wrote the target is insurance. It checks every box.
ABC correspondent Aaron Katursky. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation arresting a Lawrence County man on a rape charge, and now they want to know if he has other victims. Juan Carlos Barteren is accused of rape and sexual exploitation of a woman when she was a minor. He was arrested at BNA and booked into jail. Now, police are saying that Barteren also was known to travel between Tennessee and Florida, and they're asking any potential victims to contact them at 800-TBI-FIND. Stocks are mixed. We've got the Dow Jones Industrials minus 40, but the Nasdaq is up 7 points. The S&P 500 index is minus 3. That's the latest news. We've got weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It's June. You know what that means. You really need to get your AC serviced the best way, the Busy Bee way. And this summer, they're turning up the heat and the rewards. They have a lot of great deals and a lot of great options for you to win some cool stuff. If you need a new AC unit, you need to listen to this. All month of June, if you buy a new AC unit, you'll be entered to win a free 3-day beach getaway. That's right. You buy the AC unit, they'll handle the vacation. Gas, lodging, 2 meals a day, all on Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. The winner's going to get announced live on Facebook. And while you're keeping cool, they got more hot deals for June. Free package upgrades on air duct cleaning, $500 off select tankless or upright water heaters, 15% off whole home drain repipes, $99 for a full drain video inspection, or save $79 on a water heater flush. Don't forget, right now, when you buy a membership to the Beehive Club, you get 2 years for the price of one. That's right. Just $99 covers you for this year and next. For satisfaction guaranteed, you just got to call Busy Bee. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com. 9:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Thank you for listening, however you may be listening, whether you're on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the FM dial. Thank you for watching. If you're watching us on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. I was just over looking at the YouTube chat. It's jumping. It's always jumping on YouTube. Hit like, hit subscribe, and hit the share button. We appreciate it. If you like the station, help us increase the digital footprint by liking, subscribing, and sharing. We appreciate it. We really, really do. Hey, this weekend on Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., I'm going to be hanging out with Right to Life Rutherford. We're going to have the celebration of life and truth. This is a great pro-life organization, and we're going to be celebrating all the gains that we've made in the pro-life movement these past couple of years. So it's happening at Barfield Crescent Park. Again, this is Saturday, 11 a.m. I'm going to be there. My friends from Turning Point USA are going to be there. Paul Vaughn, who's a pro-life advocate that was pardoned by Donald Trump, is going to be there. And we're just going to have a lot of fun. Free food, music. There's going to be a kids zone. Everybody is invited out to join us, Barfield Crescent Park, the celebration of life and truth with Right to Life Rutherford on Saturday starting at 11 a.m. I'm going to be there. I hope to see you there as well. As we continue, let's get back to the business at hand. So a terror attack happens. This individual is in the country with his wife and 5 children. He throws Molotov cocktails at Jewish demonstrators. I don't even want to call them protesters. They're just really demonstrating. They weren't really protesting anything per se. They were demonstrating, trying to bring awareness to the hostages that are still captured and held in Gaza. And he throws Molotov cocktails at these individuals. One of them was an 88-year-old Holocaust survivor. Not a good guy. So they get the family. And Kristi Noem had announced yesterday that they're going to be deporting them swiftly, that they would have to deport them swiftly. Well, slow down, not so fast. A judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from deporting the family of the Boulder terror suspect attack. Federal judge in Colorado, the CBS has the headline, federal judge in Colorado temporarily blocked federal immigration officials from removing the wife and 5 children of the man charged in Sunday's attack in Boulder from the country or the state. U.S. District Judge Gordon Gallagher issued brief relief to Hayam El Gamal, the wife of Mohammed Solomon, and their children in order to preserve the court's jurisdiction over the case. Moreover, the court finds that deportation without process could work irreparable harm, and an order must issue without notice due to the urgency this situation presents, Gallagher wrote. Again, it blows my mind that we have a federal judge, and he thinks that the most important thing to do is look out for the family of a terrorist. Why? Stephen Miller responded, and Stephen Miller slammed the radical judge. He said, end the judicial coup. Once again, the courts give extraordinary preferential treatment to illegal alien foreign terrorists. The Boulder terrorist is an illegal. His entire family that he imported to America are illegals. And now a Biden judge is blocking their deportation. Yeah, that's pretty much how it looks. The Colorado Attorney General, Democrat, says that the Boulder attacker, the family of the Boulder attacker, may have an asylum claim. Oh, that's interesting. He said this yesterday on CNN. He played both sides of the fence a little bit here.
The important part about due process is if someone has a basis to stay here, they have a legitimate claim for asylum that they're threatened, that's going to get evaluated by an independent fact finder. And that's how our immigration system should work. It should work based on the facts, based on the law. It shouldn't be targeting people in ways that are haphazard, in ways that deny due process, or in ways that are based on fear, not based on facts.
I love how he says, we shouldn't be targeting people haphazardly. The dad just threw Molotov cocktails at people because they were Jewish. It's not is that haphazard? I didn't see that as haphazard. Why would we allow these people to continue to stay in our country? I'm sorry. As a dad of 4 kids, I understand the role that parents play in shaping the values of their children, right? Like I'm raising my kids as Christian, and I'm raising them to love the country, and I'm doing my damnedest to raise them to be conservative. So how is this guy raising his kids? How is he raising his kids? I don't think this is haphazard at all. I think if this individual was radicalized and indoctrinated by that radical Islamic jihadi ideology, Is it too far of a step to think the wife and kids could be radicalized as well? I don't think so, and I'd rather be safe than sorry. Wouldn't you? I think we could all agree on that. This AG in Colorado says, well, slow down. We don't want to be haphazard about anything. They may actually have an asylum claim.
But just, are you saying this is haphazard or based on fear?
This is a procedure that's been used before, an expedited procedure. And the point is, they may have a claim for asylum. They may not. That'll get decided by the administrative process, and that's how it should work.
No, yeah, the due process. We gotta wait for due process. It's all about due process, especially for the families of terrorists. Of course, due process, especially the terrorists. Got to due process. We got to do the due process. All right, did you see what the judge looked like? He looked like the old man from Up. I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't know if this is newsworthy, but you've seen the movie Up. The sweet old man, the house with the balloons. I actually haven't seen it, but I've seen the picture of the guy. But Mason's shaking his head at me because I haven't seen Up. Whatever. But anyway, if you look on the screen and you're watching on Super Talk TV, this judge is a dead ringer for the old man from Up. Is he not? Can somebody confirm? Can one of you guys confirm? He looks exactly like him. He just needs the glasses. Doesn't he? Do you see it? Okay. At least it's not just me. Mason's not talking on the mic because he's training Louie. So he's like microphone adjacent. So, but he's nodding. I'll take it. He might just be nodding for me. He might disagree. He might just be like, Chris, stop talking to me. Oh, got a thumbs down. All right, moving on. A week before the terror attack happened in Boulder, Colorado, do you know what the governor did? It's so weird. What a coincidence. He actually signed into law a bill that added more protections for illegal immigrants just days before an illegal immigrant committed a terror attack on the citizens of his state. What an idiot. What an idiot. This story just, I'm not even shocked. I'm not. Colorado Governor Jared Polis, Post Millennial has a story. Colorado Governor Jared Polis signed legislation expanding legal protections for illegal immigrants in his state roughly 1 week before an illegal immigrant allegedly carried out a terrorist attack in Boulder, Colorado. They put allegedly in the article, but I think they do that for legal purposes. It's alleged until he's convicted, but we all saw what happened. He did that. He did that. But the law was signed on May 23rd, and it eliminated a requirement that illegal immigrants must sign an affidavit stating they plan to apply for or have already applied for legal status in order to access state benefits, such as in-state college tuition, driver's licenses, or state-issued identification. It also prohibited local law enforcement from trying to delay an illegal immigrant defendant's release to assist ICE. State law previously allowed jails to hold these individuals for up to 6 hours. Not any longer. ICE has got to work harder in Colorado, and why not? They're all good folks. It's not like they're committing terror. Never mind. Sorry. Okay. So there was the one terror attack. Okay. The measure further broadened illegal immigrant defendants' ability to petition a court to vacate guilty pleas for Class 3 misdemeanors if they claim they were not adequately informed of the immigration consequences. Prior Colorado law only allowed this for Class 1 and 2 misdemeanors. Additionally, the new law that was signed into law just about a week before the terror attack by an illegal alien in Colorado. Additionally, the law restricts state employees from sharing biometric data with outside entities, including ICE, unless presented with a federal judicial warrant. Public educational institutions and hospitals are also limited in their cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. Violations of the law by public facilities or employees could result in civil penalties of up to $50,000 per the Daily Caller. So in Colorado, it really does pay to be an illegal alien. And roughly a week after that bill was signed into law, we saw Mohammed Sabri Solomon allegedly launch an attack on a crowd of demonstrators in Colorado who were marching in support of the release of the Israeli hostages held in Gaza. This guy was an Egyptian national who obtained work authorization from the Biden administration after overstaying his visa. He should have never been here. Witnesses say he shouted "Free Palestine" during the incident. The FBI is investigating this attack as a targeted act of terrorism. The FBI Denver office added that Solomon told investigators that he'd been planning the attack for over a year, and said he wanted to kill all Zionist people and wished they were all dead. The Department of Homeland Security also announced it's reviewing its ICE tip line in light of the incident, a report by the Daily Caller noted. Again, I just wonder, how much did the family know? They're going to get their due process. The Democrats would scream and bee and moan if they didn't. They're going to get their due process. But if the dad was planning a terror attack for a year, he showed up on the scene with, what was it, like 18 plus Molotov cocktails. He had a garden sprayer that would spray, like, weed killing chemicals, outfitted with gasoline. He wanted to make an impromptu flamethrower. This plan was extensive. You're telling me that you got 5 kids in the house and a wife and nobody knew what was going on? Again, just personally, I can't poop in my house without my kids popping in. Like, honestly, like, I have 4 little kids. You tell me I can't take a poop, but this guy can plan a terrorist attack and nobody in the family knows? Nobody knows. No, I don't believe that whatsoever. And I think the family needs to be deported. And I think when it all shakes out, the family will be deported. As much as Judge Up wants to slow it down, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't. We'll be paying attention to this story very, very closely. But again, you're planning a terror attack for a year. Yeah, the family knew. I'm sorry. The family knew. Again, this is just based on my own experience with having kids and a wife. They knew. One of them knew something, at the very least. Dad's acting a little weird. Have you checked on him lately? Like, somebody knew something. Somebody knew something. And the video he put out professing his love for jihad, I don't think that's probably the first time he shared those opinions with his family. Again, I'm raising my kids to be Christian. If this guy loved jihad so much, how's he raising his kids? How? Just questions I think need answers. Activists, leftist judges say, slow down. We got to give them a due process. Okay. We will. And I think that at the end of all this, the family will end up being deported. President Trump's ICE is working on multiple things at once, okay? Not only are they dealing with this kind of stuff and the deportation of this terrorist family, but they actually just arrested a suspect who is either a current or former member of al-Qaeda and a Russian national born in Tajikistan who was released under Biden in 2023. You notice a similarity with a lot of these stories? Have you noticed that? It all comes back to released under Biden. Isn't that weird? What a coincidence. This individual is now pending deportation. ICE.gov has the entire story. Happened in Philadelphia. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested a Tajikistan-born Russian national who was wanted overseas. ICE enforcement and removal operations in Philadelphia, in partnership with the FBI, arrested a 39-year-old male born in Tajikistan, a citizen of Russia, in the early morning hours on May 23rd in Philadelphia. Arresting individuals linked to terrorist organizations such as al-Qaeda reaffirms our unwavering commitment to safeguard the homeland. Through close collaboration with our outstanding partners at the FBI, we have taken decisive action to make our communities safer and prevent potential threats to the American people, said ERO Philadelphia Acting Field Office Director Brian McShane. I commend the dedicated men and women of ICE and the FBI for their tireless efforts and steadfast resolve in protecting this great nation. So this individual was first encountered in San Ysidro pedestrian West Point of entry in California on March 21st, 2023. He was charged as an inadmissible alien under the Immigration and Nationality Act because he didn't have an immigrant visa. He was served a notice to appear before an immigration judge, paroled into the United States. And earlier this month, Tajikistan officials declared this individual a fugitive wanted for organization of a criminal community. It is alleged that he is or was a member of al-Qaeda. And again, these are the types of individuals that the Biden administration had no issue releasing into your neighborhood. No problem with that. After his arrest, this individual is detained by ICE, where he will remain pending removal from the United States. Thank you, ICE. Once again, avoiding what could have been an absolute disaster. And I think that there are a lot of these stories happening low-key behind the scenes that don't get the play that they need. But ICE is out there, and they're looking for these individuals. The federal activist judges, they're doing their best to protect these individuals. It's a damn shame. 9:52. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand for my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, they are the best, and they want to get you back to a pain-free life. And they have a fantastic new deal for you. This is the Big 34 deal. Now, we talked about the Big 47 for a while, but if you remember, Donald Trump had 34 charges levied against him. He still persisted. And so now the Wellness Institute of Nashville is celebrating that persistence by giving you the Big 34 deal. This is going to take care of your initial appointment, x-rays if you need them, and a consultation for just $34 to get you back to a pain-free life. Again, just $34 to get started. So if you're living with back pain, knee pain, or nerve pain, it is time to stop, and it's time to call the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They'll get you back to a pain-free life without the pills, without the surgery, because they specialize in spinal decompression. This high-tech therapy is actually going to heal your spine and your nerves naturally. Don't waste another day living in pain. Call the Wellness Institute of Nashville, 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009, or visit painisbad.com. 9:59 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I got a text here from Mike in Nashville, 5644. He said, giving an illegal immigrant due process is like giving a shoplifter a full refund. God help us. Yeah, I hear you. Hey, listen, if you skip the due process on the way in, do we really need you to afford you due process on the way out? I don't think so. I'm not a fan of that personally. Not a fan of that at all, to be honest with you. We got some updates on the border. A couple bills being introduced that are pretty cool. Brandon Gill has introduced a bill that's going to aim to close some loopholes so that way you can't hire illegal aliens. And Marsha Blackburn has a bill to make doxing federal agents illegal. We'll talk about all that and more on the way. Plus, a cartel-run nightclub in South Carolina got raided. Oh. They were just doing the jobs that Americans don't want to do. So we'll talk about that as well. Hang out with us. 10 o'clock, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. Now 10 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Stop and go traffic in East Nashville right now for an accident at Ellington Parkway southbound. It's between Trinity Lane and Spring Street. And then there's some intersection modifications. That's what they're calling it at the traffic center right now. It's in Madison on Tennessee 45 between MacArthur Drive and Archwood Drive. And that's causing quite a delay as well. CMA Fest begins in just moments. And there's news that the international nonprofit called Red Frogs is tripling its volunteer team this year, bringing in 100 trained members to help with free water, phone charging, emotional support, and first aid. Fox 17 reports festival goers can find Red Frog stations across downtown, including at Bridgestone Plaza, Nissan Stadium, and outside the Hard Rock Cafe. Anybody attending the festival may get a little soggy today.
We're talking very heavy rainfall and the potential for some 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. Like we've talked about, severe threat is low for today, but not to be ignored.
Channel 4 Stefano DiPietro there on the potential for strong thunderstorms today. Umbrellas are not allowed at the festival. Ponchos are. Tennessee U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn introducing a new bill that would make it a federal crime to dox ICE and Homeland Security agents. And it comes as a federal investigation is underway into Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell's actions during recent ICE operations here. Channel 4's Alexandria Adams.
The mayor signed an executive order to track all ICE interactions happening across the city of Nashville, and that led to several agents' names being shared on the Metro website. Well, the mayor saying that the names have since been removed, and the city is now working on safeguards to make sure that does not happen again.
Senator Blackburn says having their names posted by O'Connell put those agents' lives at risk. If it feels like you're paying so much more for steaks for grilling this summer, there's a good reason for that. There's not enough cattle farming in the U.S., according to Nate Rempe. He's the CEO of Omaha Steaks.
The number of head of cattle in the United States is at a low really not seen since the 1950s. In fact, it's wild. 86.7 million herd now in the U.S. Back in 1952 is about 88 million. So that supply pressure is really putting a lot of upward pressure on price.
He was speaking on Fox Business. Now, the U.S. imports a large amount of meat from Canada and Mexico, two countries affected by recent trade changes. Rempe says he thinks that ranchers will start growing their herds, and by late next year, prices will come back down. That's the latest news. We've got your weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
10:06, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. So a couple people were asking me to send them a picture of that judge that looks like the guy from Up. The judge that says you can't deport the family of the terrorist without a due process. And I walk back in here. He really looks like the guy from Up. If you're not watching us on YouTube, you're not seeing the picture that's on the screen, but I retweeted it from my Twitter account at Chris Hand on Air because the federal judge who has blocked the deportations for the family, he looks like the guy from Up, doesn't he? It's not just me, right?
Sorry, this is the theme from the movie. I couldn't resist playing this.
Doesn't he look like the guy from Up?
So much.
Is it just me? He needs the glasses. How do you get a jaw that's square? I don't know. I don't know how that happens. It's really crazy. So if you're watching on the stream, you'll see the picture. If you aren't watching on the stream, you should hit like, hit subscribe, or you can go over to my Twitter account at Chris Hand on Air and find it. He's a dead ringer. He's a dead ringer for that. It's crazy. All right, we got Rep. Brandon Gill introducing a new bill. I like this one a lot. It's going to close a lot of the loopholes that allow companies to hire illegal aliens, and it's going to penalize them if they hire illegal aliens. And I'm a huge fan. Rep. Brandon Gill has introduced this bill aiming to close legal loopholes that give employers financial incentives to hire illegal aliens over American citizens. Post Millennial has a story. It's called the New IDEA Act. It was introduced yesterday. Requires data sharing between the IRS, the DHS, Social Security Administration, and they want all those companies to work together to identify and remove illegal aliens from the workforce. In addition, the bill is going to strengthen and permanently authorize E-Verify, which will give employers legal protection when they're relying on E-Verify results, and it will allow job offers to be contingent on final verification. This is all coming from a press release out of Rep. Brandon Gill's office. Gill put out a statement as well, and he said it's time to dismantle the jobs magnet driving illegal immigration and ensure that unscrupulous employers do not benefit from hiring illegal aliens over American citizens. We shouldn't be doling out American jobs to illegal aliens from foreign nations. My legislation promotes a thriving economy and encourages E-Verify use so law-abiding Americans can make an honest living, earn benefits, and run successful businesses that serve their community. Thank you. This just seems like common sense, and because it seems like common sense, the bill is probably going to go nowhere. Right? It's. I don't want to be black-pilled, but sometimes it's like, it sounds great, so it's probably never going to happen. Gill wrote after introducing the bill, I just introduced the New IDEA Act to shut down the jobs magnet fueling illegal immigration. My bill blocks tax breaks for hiring illegals, encourages E-Verify, and tears down the bureaucratic firewall, shielding them from deportation. Americans' jobs belong to Americans. Thank you. Thank you. I hope that this goes somewhere. Daily Wire was promoting it yesterday. The bill has a lot of co-sponsors, a lot of people getting behind this thing. We're talking Representatives Tom McClintock, Troy Niels, Paul Gosar, Lauren Boebert, Chip Roy, Eli Crane, Scott Perry, to name a few. It's supported by the Immigration Accountability Project. It's supported by the Federation for American Immigration Reform and Numbers USA. The Federation for American Immigration Reform, their director of government relations, Joe Chatham, said, ending unlawful employment of illegal aliens is fundamentally important to reducing illegal immigration. This measure included in this bill makes crucial strides towards achieving that goal by closing the tax deduction loophole and cracking down on companies employing illegal aliens. Fair applauds Congressman Gill for leading with this bill, working to protect American workers and holding employers accountable. I'm here for it too, and I hope that this goes through. We should be sending a lot more bills to the president's desk, just in total. I think is the tally at 5? I think the tally was 5 that we sent to the president so far. 5 bills. 5. We got the House, we got the Senate. 5 bills. It's been disappointing, but that's Republicans for you. Marsha Blackburn's also introducing a bill. Marsha Blackburn's bill is going to criminalize the doxing of federal law enforcement officials. I'm here for this. We've been talking a lot about that. The federal law enforcement officials that are wearing masks because they're being doxxed by Trantifa members, and they're having their names, their faces, their kids' social media profiles put online, death threats being sent their way. It's only a matter of time before those threats become actions, and Marsha Blackburn is not going to sit on her hands and wait to introduce a bill like this after something happens to a federal agent. So she's introduced this new legislation. Blackburn recently spoke against Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell. Fox 17 has the story after he posted interactions between federal ICE agents and Metro law enforcement on Nashville's government website. The mayor said he was not trying to dox federal agents. This has been a big topic of conversation. It was just a happy little accident. It was just an honest, gee whiz, guys, our bad. But too late. Once it's online forever. They took it down quickly, but again, once it's online forever. The individuals were out there. They grabbed screenshots. Everybody knew it. But he stated, the mayor, that he is willing to surrender any information needed to lawmakers, including Blackburn, to clear his name. Freddie O'Connell said, I write to express my deep concern with the recent actions this is Blackburn. I write to express my deep concern with the recent actions of Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell and his efforts to obstruct the work of the Trump administration to secure our border, deport criminal illegal aliens, and make America safe again. On Wednesday, Blackburn introduced the Protecting Law Enforcement and Doxing Act, which would make it illegal to dox federal agents. And doxing, defined by the Department of Homeland Security as gathering an individual's personally identifiable information and releasing it publicly for malicious purposes. And they don't want that being done to federal law enforcement. This one, I think this will go somewhere. I do. We'll see. Got an update on what ICE has been up to in South Carolina. This story's wild. There was a nightclub in South Carolina that was being run by a cartel. What? Why? It's insane. They dubbed the raid Operation Last Stand. Happened over the weekend. Resulted in the arrest of over 70 illegal aliens at a nightclub the Department of Homeland Security said was run by a suspected member of the Los Zetas cartel in South Carolina. DHS said in a press release prior to the operation that ICE had received information from a source about the underground illegal club, the Alamo, being the location of narcotics, weapons, and human trafficking. During the early Sunday raid, ICE agents seized cash, narcotics, and firearms. They posted footage of the raid on X. If you're watching on the stream, I'll have some of that B-roll rolling in the background of ICE agents going after these illegal aliens at this cartel-run club in South Carolina. Per the local news station WCIV, the raid took place at about 3 a.m. Sunday morning at the Somerville Club. This is 30 minutes from Charleston, South Carolina, and there was about 200 guys, federal, state, and local authorities that went in to raid this club. This was no small operation. Overall, 72 arrests were made, which included illegal aliens with serious prior offenses, and they had 6 juveniles at the club turned over to the state social services for care. Now, I don't want to jump to conclusions, right? But the tip that they had received said that the underground illegal club, the Alamo, was a location of narcotics, weapons, and human trafficking, okay? Human trafficking. 72 illegals are arrested. And 6 juveniles, minors, were at the club and turned over to the state. So I ask you, if we know that they're human trafficking, what was the purpose of those 6 juveniles at the club? I think we understand what the purpose probably was. It's dark. And these are the individuals that are saving these kids that want their identity protected. And activists, radicals, members of Antifa want to expose who they are when they're literally saving kids from human trafficking. These people are insane. Hakeem Jeffries said, I'm going to make sure every ICE official, every DHS agent who's masked is going to have their identity exposed. These guys are out here saving kids. Kids. It's crazy. It's a 3 a.m. raid. 6 juveniles turned over to the state social services. Homeland Security Investigations Special Agent in Charge, Cardell Morant, said that the 200 people had gathered at the club, around 200 people had gathered at the club for a cartel after party. This operation was not just about immigration enforcement. It was about restoring order. Charleston County Sheriff Carl Ritchie said that 2 of those arrested were high-level cartel members. So you have children at a club that is known for human trafficking being run by high-level cartel members. Crazy. They were affiliated with Los Zetas and Tren de Aragua. Los Zetas, recognized as Cartel del Noreste, was designated a terrorist organization by the Trump administration in February. Another person arrested had an Interpol red notice. The man, Sergio Joel Gallo Baca, is a murder suspect from Honduras. DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said in a statement, day in and day out, brave men and women of ICE are working with local law enforcement to keep American communities safe. The successful operation that took place in the Charleston area resulted in more than 70 arrests of illegal aliens, including an international murder suspect and the dismantling of a nightclub run by a suspected cartel member where drugs, weapons, and human trafficking were taking place. Under President Trump and under Secretary Noem, fugitives and lawbreakers are on notice. Leave now or ICE will find and deport you. Again, the craziest part of this story is that they know that this club is used for human trafficking. It is run by these cartel members, and they rescued 6 juveniles from the club. Not a peep about it on CNN. Did you hear a peep about this on CNN? Anybody? MSNBC? CBS Nightly? ABC Nightly News? No? No? Weird. Seems like a pretty big story when you have a nightclub in America being run by a cartel designated as a foreign terrorist organization where human trafficking is happening and kids are being rescued. You'd think that they would be celebrating these officers, but they can't. They're too busy demonizing them. These people are insane. Hakeem Jeffries wants these ICE agents exposed. The Democrats want these ICE agents exposed. The media wants you to think that this is the secret police and the Gestapo. This is just like Nazi Germany as they save kids from human trafficking. Just remember that. When they demonize ICE officials, these ICE officials are putting their lives on the line to save kids from human trafficking. It's crazy. The media will demonize them. The left will demonize them. And they're saving kids from human trafficking. You don't hate the media enough. You honestly don't. And there's just, it's just crazy, man. It's crazy. Got another story here that was also pretty wild. There's a U.S. senator in New Hampshire, okay? Her name is, what's her name? Jeez, I just had it in front of me. Oh, Jean Shaheen. She's a Democrat out of New Hampshire. Her spouse was flying on planes with known or suspected terrorists on 3 separate occasions. So he got put on a watch list, a no-fly list, the spouse. Then the senator caught wind of that and said, I'm going to make a call to TSA. So this Democrat senator makes a call to TSA, gets the spouse off that list, and then gets him put on a special list that gets him exempted from all searches at TSA checkpoints. This is a pretty big scandal. And especially when you put it in the light of Tulsi Gabbard was put on the Quiet Skies watch list for no reason whatsoever. This guy had a reason to be put on a watch list, and his wife called and got him off this. Listen to the story. CBS has it. The U.S. senator's spouse was placed on a government watch list in 2023 after a surveillance program flagged his travel profile, but he was removed after the senator back-channeled with administration officials, sources familiar with the situation told CBS. Shortly after New Hampshire Democrat Jean Shaheen spoke with TSA about her husband, William Shaheen, TSA officials quietly removed him from a list of people subjected to additional scrutiny under TSA's Quiet Skies domestic surveillance program. William Shaheen is a Lebanese-American attorney active in the Arab-American community, and he was placed on a different list after the call, which excluded him from any future advanced screening, including random checks at TSA airports, two of the sources said. This is insane. It's insane because one of the big deals about when he was caught, why he was put on the list, was he was flying with a known or suspected terrorist. A known or suspected terrorist. The decision to shield the senator's husband by putting him on what the TSA calls a secure flight exclusion list marked an unusual step in a system meant to operate outside of political interference. A spokesperson for Senator Shaheen told CBS News on Tuesday that she contacted TSA after her husband was subjected to several extensive, invasive, and degrading searches at airport checkpoints and was seeking to understand the nature and cause. Sources told CBS News that in July of 2023, he was pulled aside, the husband, for extra screening at a Boston airport ahead of two flights. Officials said at the time, the security agency randomly selected travels for additional screening, and William Shaheen was randomly chosen. 3 months later, he was flagged again by TSA because his travel companion on two flight reservations was listed by the FBI as a known or suspected terrorist. What? Wait, what? Yeah. In fact, they were so nervous about the guy he was flying with, a federal air marshal was sent to covertly travel near them on a flight on October 18th, 2023. But all it took was one phone call from a Democrat to get him not just off the watch list, but on a don't even search list. Insanity. Insane. Spokesperson for Senator Shaheen said she wasn't aware that her husband had been monitored under the Quiet Skies program and that he had later been given preferential treatment by being specifically excluded from enhanced screening. The person William Shaheen traveled with, whose identity could not be confirmed by CBS News, was removed from the FBI terrorism watch list later in 2023. Sources familiar with the matter said. That being said, 2023, it's the Biden officials that were in charge of it. So did he deserve to be removed or not? That's up for debate. It's 1023, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Better Water LLC. Do you know what's in your water? Honestly, do you? The water you're drinking, the water you're bathing your kids in, the water you're bathing in. What about your grandkids? You want them in nasty water? If you don't know what's in your water, it could terrify you to find out what's in there. I'm talking about sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, even E. coli. Now, if you're not sure if it's in there or not, Better Water will test your water for free. Just tell them Chris Hand sent you. They'll come to your home. They'll test your water for free. If there's nothing in there, you're good to go. If there's some nasty stuff in your water, they offer a full range of options to clean it up. From reverse osmosis to specialized filters to UV lights, Better Water has you covered. They're based out of Smyrna. They serve all of Middle Tennessee, and you've probably already tasted their work. They filter the water at your favorite coffee shops and at the hospitals around town. So stop drinking the junk out of your tap. Give Better Water a call today. Say, Chris Hand told me to call, and he said that you'll test my water for free, and they'll come out to your home, and they'll make it happen for you. 615-355-6063. 615-355-6063. Online, betterwater.com.
90,000 people each day. That's how many visitors are coming to Nashville for CMA Fest. And a horrifying story out of Washington State where 3 little girls have been found murdered. We've got the latest on that case coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
90,000 people a day for CMA Fest? 90,000? Oh my gosh. That's crazy. I'm not going. I'm not going. Nope. You know, if you are going, you know who's going to be at CMA Fest? Mary Cutter, who was in studio a couple weeks ago. Devil Wore a Lab Coat. We had a great interview with her. That's available on our YouTube page in case you missed it. She has a song that Big Pharma doesn't want you to hear. And we got it for you on our YouTube page. Just search Mary Cutter. It's Cutter with a K. She's awesome and deserves all the success coming her way. So I hope she has a great time at CMA Fest. 90,000 people a day, though. I'm going to be sitting that one out. I'm not. I don't like crowds. A crowded Walmart is too crowded for me. So I'm definitely not going to CMA Fest. We got a lot to get to. I got some updates on the big, beautiful bill on the way. Trump has met with Senate allies. They say Elon calling to kill the bill. That's not a factor. Mike Johnson says, we don't have enough time. We don't have enough time to do a whole new bill. And Chuck Schumer said, we're gonna call the big beautiful bill. We're gonna call it the "Everyone is Going to Die" Act. He literally said that.
One thing, Donald Trump is just lying about the bill. Lying about the bill. Well, here's the "We Are All Going to Die" Act.
The "We Are All Going to Die" Act. It's not the big beautiful bill, says Chuck Schumer. It's the "We Are All Going to Die" Act. I'll bring you those updates on the big beautiful bill here in a moment. It does feel like a big beautiful blunder, but I don't know. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. I think that both sides are making their points be known, and I love the fact that there's mounting pressure to continue to cut spending. I'm here for that. But I also look at a lot of the advantages in the bill. I think that we need some of this, especially when it comes to border enforcement and the opportunity that we have in front of us. But we'll talk about it when we get back. Plus, a lot of individuals from the Trump administration say this CBO score that Rand Paul, Massey, Elon, that they're basing the numbers off of is not accurate. And Rapid Response on Twitter, do you follow Rapid Response on Twitter? You should. They put out a graphic that highlighted some of the CBO predictions in the past and then what the reality was. And it does make you look at things in a different light. I'll bring you that graphic if you're watching live on Super Talk TV when we get back, and we'll describe it if you're listening on the radio as well. But there's definitely some value in watching us on YouTube. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. We appreciate it when you do so. Update on the big, beautiful bill when we get back. It's 10:30, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Joan Jones now with your top stories. CMA Fest kicks off at this moment. 10:30 is the official start time, and organizers say I'm Joan Jones now with your top stories. CMA Fest kicks off at this moment. 10:30 is the official start time, and organizers say 90,000 people are expected to attend each day through the weekend.
Safety is first and foremost our number one concern, even more important than putting on good shows. So for months, our security team has been working closely with MNPD, TBI, FBI, Homeland Security, in plans and tabletop exercises to be sure that we're prepared for anything.
That's Sarah Trahern, the CEO of CMA Fest. And now Metro Police say hundreds of officers are patrolling both sides of the river to make sure everyone's safe. And they're asking that if you see something, say something to police or CMA Fest staff. This is day 6 of the search for the missing pet zebra that escaped its owner's property Saturday in Rutherford County. Channel 4 says numerous people are changing up their daily routines to try to spot it. But Dakota Sullivan with the Nashville Zoo says that if you do see it, keep your distance.
But also, I just don't want anyone to think that they can just approach this animal. You know, these animals are very dangerous. They can, hurt you pretty badly. So a lot of people think it's just a horse, but they're really not. They are related to horses and everything, but they do not have the same disposition. So my biggest concern is just someone or the animal getting hurt.
Nashville Zoo says they have no intention of getting involved in the search for that zebra. The search continues in Washington state for the father of 3 little girls. He's wanted for murdering them while they were on a custody visit.
His family says Decker is highly skilled in wilderness survival. Investigators also looking into his military background. He served in Afghanistan before joining the Washington Army National Guard. Court documents say Decker had mental health issues. Police say it appears the girls were suffocated. Autopsy results coming as soon as today could help investigators piece together a clearer timeline.
That's ABC's Rhiannon Alley. Travis Decker was homeless at the time of the visit. He had been living out of his truck in a campground. It's not clear why he was permitted to have the girls for a visit. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at United Structural Systems. It's been pretty dry. We haven't really had to worry about the rain, but that's coming back. And if you have waterproofing issues at your home, when the rain comes back, well, so do those issues. I mean, it gets easy when it's dry, right? You don't see the warning signs. The water in the crawl space dried up. I got some wet basement walls, but they're dry now. And you pretend that it's just going to go away. Truth is, it's not. It's only going to get worse if you don't fix it. That's why you need to call USS. The truth is, the small problems never stay small. USS wants to give you peace of mind, and they've done that for over 30,000 homeowners in Middle Tennessee and Kentucky. They're not about sales pressure when they show up. They're not going to send a sales guy. They're going to send an expert. They're going to send somebody who's worried about your waterproofing, not somebody worried about their quota. That's a key difference. So whether it's foundation repair or waterproofing, you can trust USS. They're going to stand behind their work. They're going to give you a lifetime guarantee on the work. And they've been doing it for a while, locally owned, 30 years in the game, and they're here for the long haul. If you see the signs, don't wait. Call USS today. 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. Online, USSTN.com. 1037, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. We're live on iHeartRadio. Tune in, your FM dial. Super Talk TV is also live. You can watch the show. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. That's our fave. YouTube chat's always jumping. Shout out to everybody there. We got a gang of people in the YouTube chat. A lot of veterans in there. A lot of veterans. Shout out to our veterans. Go over to the YouTube channel, hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. We appreciate it when you do. And we got a lot to cover. The big, beautiful bill. We got some updates. And I don't know, man. Do you feel the same way? It's like I see both sides of this argument, and I'm not trying to like fence ride. I'm not. But I feel like we're going to be arguing about stuff that's going to change over the next few days. And so people are going to get like all in their feelings and be all really upset and like, oh, screw you, Elon, or like, oh, I can't believe Mike Johnson did this. And it's like, I don't know, chill. Like the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. At least that's how I feel. Trump has met with Senate allies. They say that Elon and his calls to kill the bill is not a factor. This is definitely going to be a real test for Senate Majority Leader John Thune. I think this would be his first major test as the new Senate Majority Leader. He was talking after meeting with President Trump yesterday, walked outside the White House, had this to say.
We all want to thank the President and his team for hosting us down here. We had a very positive discussion about the path forward on the big, beautiful bill, on the reconciliation bill. And I think it was a reminder that we are all in this together. This is a team effort, and everybody is going to be rowing in the same direction to get this across the finish line. Failure is not an option, and we intend to deliver along with the President for the American people on the things that he committed to do and that we committed to do in terms of the agenda. And so the reconciliation bill will be positive for growth. It'll be good for the economy. It'll create better paying jobs. And we intend on energy, on national security, on spending reductions, on tax policy, on border security, all of those areas to address the issues the American people care about to make them more safe, more secure, and more prosperous.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the tax cuts are huge. The money for border defense is huge. Stephen Miller said we have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity here just with the border funding. And I think his exact words, and I don't have the tweet in front of me, but he said, listen, if we're going to quabble over the debt ceiling, we're going to be quabbling over it as Western civilization falls, because the opportunity that we have in front of us is to fix what happened over the last 4 years, and this bill is going to do a lot for that. Again, I think that they're spending too much as you do, but I'm waiting to see what the final result is coming out of the Senate. So we heard from Thune, and then we also had the Senate Majority Whip, John Barrasso. He weighed in after that meeting with President Trump as well. This is what he had to say.
Committed to a safe and prosperous America. And that's what this bill does. It provides for safety as well as prosperity for the American people. We shared with the president the fact that the American people trust Republicans much more on the economy than they do the Democrats. And this bill does what the American people want us to do.
Except for, the raising of the debt ceiling. That and the continued spending. Still trust the Republicans far more than I trust the Democrats. Let's make no mistake about that. Even if this bill was to go in exactly as it stands right now, it's still going to be a better result than anything Kamala Harris and her government could have brought to the table. Let's not kid ourselves. This is still going to be an improvement. Is it going to be as good as we want it? Probably not. Mike Johnson doesn't want anybody to make the perfect the enemy of the very, 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 very good, as he put it. Yesterday, we also saw Chuck Schumer saying, this isn't the big, beautiful bill. This is the We're Going to Die Act. So it's like you're looking at everybody freaking out around this bill. And I don't know, man. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. I'm not the biggest economy expert, but I'm listening to what the experts of these positions are saying. Yesterday, the Office of Management and Budget Director Russ Vought, he was testifying about his budget for fiscal year 2026. Of course, the big beautiful bill came up as it would. So Russ Vought had this to say about the big beautiful bill.
And a strategy for which we really go after and fix the largest share of the federal spending that is the crux of the national deficit that we have today.
You know, we believe that we're doing that with this bill that you have passed out of the House. And one of the reasons we're so excited about it is that for the first time since 1990s, we are talking about trillions of dollars with regard to mandatory savers. $1.7 trillion now is an enormous opportunity and first step along the lines of what you're talking about and what we've proposed in budgets before. I think it's, you know, for those that are saying, where are the DOGE cuts? That's not a reconciliation thing. For those that are saying, where are the mandatory reforms? That is in that bill. And we believe it's the first major conversation like this we've had since the 1990s. We will have more proposals as we go forward. You know, the president wants to have a balanced budget. 3 out of our 4 budgets in the first term were aimed at budget, had that as a goal, and we had large mandatory savers in those budgets that were consistent with the president's promises to protect Social Security and Medicare, and we will continue to have reforms along those lines.
He wanted to say, you know, this is an enormous opportunity that we have in front of us, and he also went directly at those CBO projections. So the CBO projections say we're going to increase the deficit like crazy. And Russ Vought pushed back on that. And he said that the CBO estimates are fundamentally flawed. And this is what a lot of people are going off of for the CBO. This is what we have Elon Musk going off of. This is what we have Rand Paul going off of. This is what Thomas Massey's going off of, the CBO estimates.
Just a quick follow-up. Do you believe that the CBO's estimate of President Trump's one big, beautiful bill accurately represents the benefits that it will provide to the American people and the fiscal course correction that it will provide our nation?
No, I think it's fundamentally wrong. I stated that today. It will lead to reduced deficits and debt of $1.4 trillion. It will reduce mandatory savings of $1.7 trillion. And I don't think the way they construct their baseline, not only does it give a fair shake to economic growth, but it fundamentally misreads the economic consequences of not extending current law tax relief. I mean, the degree to which we would have a recession or worse if the tax relief is not extended is something that they just fundamentally do not factor into their analysis.
Yeah, I mean, if the tax savings aren't extended, we're definitely in big trouble. But he's pushing back on the CBO, right? And Rapid Response 47, it's a good Twitter account, and they put out this chart of the CBO's biggest failures. And you'll see it if you're looking on Super Talk TV. We're going to get it up on your screen. But if you're listening on the air, CBO's biggest failure. Okay, so let's go down the list. Obamacare. CBO estimated that 25 million people would enroll in Obamacare plans. The reality was an enrollment of 12 million, less than 50%. That's a CBO estimate. 2023 deficit spending and revenues. The CBO is projected a relatively stable deficit for 2023. The reality was they underestimated the deficit by $1.04 trillion. The Inflation Reduction Act. Remember that? Oh, we all loved the Inflation Reduction Act, which didn't reduce inflation at all. It actually made it far, far worse. The CBO, actually, the CBO score said that the Inflation Reduction Act would result in $58.1 billion in savings. But the reality was $428 billion in new deficit. So I say all that to say this. I think people have realistic issues and real reasons to not trust the CBO score. Again, I'm not a finance guy. I'm just sitting here on the sidelines kind of waiting this one out and seeing what happens. But a lot of people say the CBO is fundamentally flawed. Stephen Miller said, we're in a struggle for the survival of civilization itself, and we have libertarians threatening to derail the entire agenda over bogus CBO pie charts. We will be debating these matters over the ruins of the West if we don't control migration. That's Stephen Miller's take on it. Now, again, the debt is important. Russ Vought was asked, how important is America's debt and deficit to you? And he said, guys, it's extremely important. Let's not make any mistakes here. Russ Vought is saying, I acknowledge how important the debt and the deficit is. But
and in that role, how important is America's debt and deficit to you?
Huge. I mean, we have an enormous problem ahead of us with regard to the debt that we're facing as a country. It's hanging over us. It's causing massive interest costs each and every year to keep growing, and the impact that it can suddenly cause much worse situation than we've seen thus far is still always out there as a possibility. It's one of the reasons we have to pass this bill to be able to begin to get a handle on the spending that has been on autopilot that
we're going to get into
members have been calling attention
about
to.
30.
Got to get a handle on the spending. We're going to do it by spending more. I understand that doesn't make any sense, and it's confusing as all get out. It does seem like both of these sides have their heels dug in. Everybody's upset. I have no idea what's going to happen next. Carl in Nashville on the big, beautiful bill. What's up, Carl?
Oh, well, I'm actually in the borough today.
Oh, what's up, man?
Hold on, I'm going to take this off speakerphone. I wanted to call. I'm glad you're talking about this. They're talking about adding $2.4 trillion to the debt, and that's all they're talking about. The Republicans really need to work on their delivery, because I looked up from January 2021 what the debt was, the national debt on the federal government, to January of 2025. January 2021, if I looked at my figures correctly, was like the debt was $27.4 trillion or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
When we got out of debt, when Donald Trump became president, it was approaching $37 trillion.
Yep.
That's almost $9 trillion. And they're complaining about $2.4 trillion. And granted, it's going to happen. But this is this links into the reason why I really wanted to call. It's about the immigration, and when I see these videos, and when ICE goes out and does the raids and they arrest people, there's always dangerous criminals building your houses and whatnot. These are work sites videos, and these are the same people that are acting as if the last 4 years did not happen, and then they did not expect correction, and I put my comments in there like, I said, you thought that this was okay. It's not. This is correction, and I did hear that a majority of the Americans are for this. They're for getting rid of the illegal aliens, and this is the country we grew up on, and now all of a sudden they're going to change the game.
Yep. I hear you, Carl, and you're kind of echoing what Stephen Miller said. It's like we're in the struggle for the survival of civilization, and we have libertarians threatening to derail the entire agenda over bogus CBO pie charts. We will be debating these matters over the ruins of the West if we don't control migration. I think that's a huge part of the bill, and I tend to agree. I don't know, man. I get that we need to get our spending under control. I do. I understand that. But this is still the vehicle for Trump's agenda. This is the point Scott Jennings made last night on CNN. You can disagree with this, but this is the vehicle that's going to get a lot of these promises that Trump got elected on done.
But this is a big, threat to his agenda.
Well, first of all, they're friends. They get along. Elon Musk had a lot to do with President Trump winning last year and has been a big part of the administration. I don't think there's any reason to go out and trash an ally like Elon Musk.
Well, he's not acting like an ally at the moment.
Well, he has a difference of opinion about this one issue, and that's okay.
In fairness, these people did too. Rand Paul has the same difference of opinion, actually, on the deficit.
But what the White House and the congressional leadership believe is that this opinion that Elon has formed and some others is based on faulty scoring from the CBO. They just have a different point of view about this. And at the end of the day, this is the president's agenda. He ran on making the tax cuts permanent, welfare reform, and border security. That is the core of this bill. And I think all Republicans want to cut spending. All Republicans want to get the debt deficit under control. But this is how the president won the election. The national popular vote, the electoral college, tax cuts, welfare reform, border security. This is the vehicle for that. And I don't think failure is an option.
I don't think failure is an option. That's Scott Jennings, his take on the big, beautiful bill. I'll get to more of your takes on the way. Mike and Brian, hang on the line. We'll get to your calls next right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Mexico gets shut down in the Supreme Court. We'll tell you about it at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You closed. No more business for you. Donald Trump is in the White House right now with the German chancellor. We'll bring you some audio from that on the way. Real quick, though, Mike and Brian in Nashville, they want to talk about ICE and deportation efforts. Mike wants to talk about ICE. Brian wants to talk about the big, beautiful bill. Let's go to Brian first. Brian, you're up first on Super Talk. What's up, man?
What's up, brother?
How we doing? What are your thoughts?
Man, I agree with that dude that called that said, I don't know if you said he was from somewhere and he said I'm from Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
Okay, he did the research back when, let's put a barometer on it when Biden entered and then Trump came in. I mean, I heard Matt yesterday, he was ticked about some guy saying it was going to be $1 trillion a year if they leave it, whatever it is, it's going to increase the debt. You know what? So what? Give Trump the resources, and then in the end, you'll be glad because he knows what he's doing. He's a brilliant guy. He's got brilliant people around him. They don't have a debt limit anyway. That's a lie.
Yeah.
Because they raise it every year.
Exactly.
That's a fallacy.
It's a formality.
Yeah.
It's
a fallacy. It's for us to be pissed about it. Well, we should have been pissed about it a long time ago. Why now?
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I'm just waiting. I think as this thing gets out of the Senate, it's going to look different than it does now, and I'm just being patient on it. And I'm not going to I trust the Trump administration. I do. I think hopefully, this is what we voted for. Let's do the right thing.
I know you do, and I do too, and that's what we got to do. We got to trust. We don't have to be fools because I know Chad doesn't. He doesn't g-haw all the time. But you know what? Let the guy do his job. He's done a hell of a job in just 5 months. So,
yeah, I hear you, Brian.
Good job, bro.
Hey, appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Mike, we'll get to you when we get back. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk. But when we get back also, Trump getting asked a lot of questions inside the Oval Office. He's being asked about the auto pen investigation. He's being asked about the travel ban. And something I noticed whenever a world leader comes to the White House that we didn't see during the Biden years. I'll tell you about it when we get back. It's 11:01, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We're tracking some pretty strong storms out to the west of Nashville right now, moving this way. Nothing severe at this moment. However, we are under a level 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather today here in Middle Tennessee. We'll be keeping an eye on it for you. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Getting some breaking news right now out of the U.S. Supreme Court. They have blocked the Mexican government's lawsuit against major U.S. gun makers. Mexico trying to blame American gun makers for drug cartel violence because of all the American-made guns that are trafficked into Mexico that the cartel gets. President Trump says he had a 1.5-hour phone call with President Xi of China this morning. He says it focused almost solely on trade and resulted in what he calls a very positive conclusion for both countries, and that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, and Ambassador Jamieson Greer will be meeting their Chinese counterparts shortly at a location to be determined. Trump says they did not discuss anything concerning Russia, Ukraine, or Iran. Trump and Xi's phone chat this morning initially sent stocks higher on Wall Street. Karen Travers says the president has another guest at the White House today. In fact, they're talking right now.
On the agenda for President Trump's meeting today with German Chancellor Merz, defense spending, trade, Russia's war in Ukraine, and what the White House calls, quote, democratic backsliding in Europe. The White House says the European Union needs to make a meaningful offer to the U.S. that addresses longstanding trade barriers. The meeting today with the German leader comes after the president has threatened 50% tariffs on the EU, and the clock is ticking for deals to be reached before the July 9th deadline when reciprocal tariffs would go back into effect. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
President Trump bringing back his travel ban, this time signing a sweeping order blocking travel into the U.S. from nearly 20 countries identified as high risk for terrorism, visa abuse, failure to share security information.
The recent terror attack in Boulder, Colorado, has underscored the extreme dangers posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted as well as those who come here as temporary visitors and overstay their visas. We don't want them.
In that Boulder case, the Egyptian man who's charged with setting fire to Israeli supporters came in during the Biden administration. He overstayed his work visa. His wife and children overstayed their visas, too. They've got a deportation hearing scheduled for a week from tomorrow. The Supreme Court has just released several rulings. I just told you about one. Well, there was another one that sided with a straight woman in Ohio who filed a reverse discrimination lawsuit against her employer. Her gay boss declined to promote her because she's straight, according to this lawsuit. This ruling makes it easier to file similar suits. This was a unanimous ruling by the justices. They also ruled on a gun case.
The Supreme Court shut down the Mexican government's lawsuit against American gun makers over violence at the border. I mean, this shields the companies from a suit that could have claimed billions of dollars potentially in damages.
That is CNN's Paula Reed. And that's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:07, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. If you need a water filtration system, and I think you do, you go to betterwater.com. You can listen to the show anywhere, iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch the show, Super Talk TV. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. We appreciate it when you do. We had a bunch of people subscribing this morning. We're now over 9,000 YouTube subscribers. I think that those are still rookie numbers. We can get those numbers up. The more you help us with the digital footprint, the more powerful the radio station becomes. So please, 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 please. You know, if we get to a few 100,000 subscribers, like as crazy as this sounds, people will pay big attention to what we're doing here, more so than they do. So help us make that happen. Go over to the YouTube page, hit like, hit subscribe. We appreciate it when you do. Real quick, Mike in Nashville wanted to talk about ICE units. What's up, Mike? How we doing?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, how you doing, Chris? Hey, listen, man. You know, Donald Trump, you know, he got ICE units all over the U.S., you know, hunting down these people that Biden let in. And it's, you know, claim that they're trying to get over 3,000 people I think they said a week or a day. They're trying to up the ante a little bit, going to construction zones, going to a Home Depot, 7-Elevens, arresting people. The Donald Trump is definitely doing the job, doing exactly. But the problem I have with people with Chris are these sympathizers with these illegals in the country. You talked about it. These people that are posting the faces. Now you got ICE guys having to wear masks on their face because you got these so-called supporters of these immigrants posting their faces online, giving out their address, family members, telephone numbers, hoping that something bad might happen to one of these people. These people are doing their job. That's what they were paid to do by Tom Homan and Donald Trump, was to round these people up and get these people out of the country. These people broke the law, Chris, that when they crossed the border from Mexico into the USA without proper paperwork, you broke the law. Whether you're working a job, doing the right thing when you're in the country or not, you still broke the law, and you have to go back where you come from. And I wish there was some way, Chris, because these sympathizers, I wish that there was some way Donald Trump could load them up on a plane and get them the hell out of the country too. When they send them illegal, because these people, it's obvious that they hate the country that they live in. So if they don't like the country they don't live in, why do they continue to live here? So I wish there was some way Donald Trump could get these people out of the country too. And I thank you for taking my call.
Amen, Mike. I appreciate the call as always. We love Mike. Mike calls in quite often. He's based in Red Pill. Love Mike. All right, so Trump has the German chancellor in the Oval Office right now. They're sitting down. They're taking some questions. But I noticed something, and I noticed this. I noticed this. When did I notice this? When Carney showed up. Donald Trump meets every world leader at the front door whenever they show up. And that might seem small, but I think it actually is a pretty big deal. Donald Trump lets everyone know how important he thinks their visit is every time he shows up. This is not something that happened under Biden. Biden was sequestered off or lost in a closet somewhere in the White House, and they would then bring in the world leader, and then they'd sit down and have a meeting before they shuffled out the press, so that way you couldn't ask any questions. Donald Trump is doing things completely different. He meets the guy at the front door every single time, whatever world leader it is, and then they open up questions to the press, and they had a lot of questions so far today for Donald J. Trump. First and foremost, they wanted to ask about the travel ban. Now, if you're just joining us, you may have not heard the latest. I'm sure you probably have. You guys are pretty smart. But Donald Trump issued a travel ban on 19 countries. Restrictions. Some of the countries are a full-out ban. Other countries are just restricted. This goes into effect Monday at 12:01. The countries on the list, 12 countries completely banned. That's Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. Then there's going to be heightened restrictions on visitors from Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. Donald Trump asked about the travel ban inside the Oval Office moments ago.
On your new travel ban, why now? And if the Boulder attack was part of your reasoning, why not include Egypt on that list where the suspect is from?
It's a good question. That's a good question. Why now? And why isn't Egypt on the list? You know, the Boulder terror suspect was an Egyptian national that overstayed his visa. The family overstayed the visa too, mind you. When the judge is ordering a temporary hold on deporting them, they overstayed their visa. They need to be deported. They deserve to be deported. But why now? Why isn't Egypt on the list? I like the question.
Well, because Egypt has been a country that we deal with very closely. They have things under control. The countries that we have don't have things under control. And why now? I can say that it can't come soon enough, frankly. We want to keep bad people out of our country. The Biden administration allowed some horrendous people, and we're getting them out one by one, and we're not stopping until we get them out. We have thousands of murderers. I even hate to say this in front of the chancellor. Of course, you have a little problem, too, with some of the people that were allowed into your country.
A little problem. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I think Germany has a much bigger problem. It's just scale, size and scale, right? Like we're a bigger country. we're handling it differently. Germany's been completely overrun. What a boss move. He looked over his shoulder. You're having a bit of a problem with that too, aren't you? A little problem.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It shouldn't have happened. I told her it shouldn't have happened what she did.
He's talking about Angela Merkel. Angela Merkel. She welcomed in all the newcomers. You remember the signs. Remember the signs in Germany? Refugees welcome. Refugees welcome. Such a big heart. It takes a big heart to allow the destruction of your country, apparently.
But you have your own difficulty with that, and we do, and we're moving them out, and we're moving them out very strongly. But it can't come fast enough. We want to get them out. We want to get them out now. We don't want to have other bad people coming into our country. But using the word bad, I'm being nice.
Yeah, amen. He is. We're talking about terrorists, murderers, rapists, gang members, drug traffickers, human traffickers, child sex traffickers, the whole lot. These are the people that the Democrats want to defend. I like that they asked Donald Trump the question. Again, this has completely changed from when Biden was in office. Biden, okay, press, that's enough. Everybody out, everybody out. Donald Trump, not so much. He was asked about a phone call that he had with President Xi. He had a phone call with President Xi Jinping this morning, and he was asked about it.
We had a very good talk, and we've straightened out any complexity. It's very complex stuff, and we straightened it out. The agreement was we're going to have Scott and Howard and Jameson will be going and meeting with their top people and continue it forward. But no, I think we have everything. I think we're in very good shape with China and the trade deal.
Now, I would have asked him about the agro-terrorism. It didn't seem to come up. I think that's a missed opportunity for the press. I think that is something that you would imagine he was talking to Xi Jinping about. You would imagine that we could use a little bit more info on that. It didn't come up. Didn't come up. Feel like that's a missed opportunity. What did come up, though, was revoking the visas of foreign students. Now, we talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, that President Trump has restricted Harvard from being able to have any foreign visa students, which is pretty based on a couple of levels. One, it hurts the bottom line of Harvard. Two, we shouldn't be educating our enemies. That's not something I think is a good idea. And we have a lot of Chinese nationals that are coming into this country using our education system, using our research facilities for nefarious purposes. I just think that's as plain as day to see. Harvard is now officially suspended from accepting international visas for new students, according to a proclamation that Donald Trump has signed. He was asked about that proclamation.
We want to have foreign students, but we want them to be checked. You know, in the case of Harvard and Columbia and others, all we want to do is see their list. There's no problem with that. This is anybody outside of our country, international students, because when we see some of the people that we've been watching, we say, where do these people come from? How is that possible? No, we want to have foreign students come. We're very honored by it, but we want to see their list. Harvard didn't want to give us the list. They're going to be giving us the list now. I think they're starting to behave, actually, if you want to know the truth.
I think they've learned their lesson. We're almost about to let them out of timeout, I assure you. He was also asked about the big, beautiful bill and what we talked about earlier in the show, the disagreement on CBO projections, right? We talked about this. Rapid Response on X had put out a graphic where they highlight some of the CBO projections that have happened in the past and how completely off those projections were. And they looked at a few things. Obamacare. There was a projection from CBO that 50+ million people would sign up for Obamacare, and it was like 12 million. And then they had a projection of the Inflation Reduction Act is going to reduce the deficit by blah, 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 blah. It was, it increased the deficit by billions upon billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. So he was asked about that. This is a big point of contention when it comes to the big, beautiful bill. Do you trust the CBO projection or not? Donald Trump in the Oval Office.
What we've seen is we keep hearing from the CBO that there's going to be a large deficit from the bill, which we disagree with, but using the CBO scoring, they came out and scored the tariff revenue. We think it'll be the minimum of $2.8 trillion over the 10-year window, which actually puts the bill in surplus if you include the tariff revenue, which they won't do.
It gives you a tremendous surplus. but we're not allowed to use that. For some reason, they say scoring. Nobody knows what scoring means. Maybe a couple of people, but nobody. Somebody sits in the background. They say, well, we're not going to allow that. They're not allowing other things that we have that are tremendously profitable for our country. But
So this is where the big disagreement lays. The CBO. Do you trust their projections or do you trust the Trump administration? Again, I do think the truth is going to be somewhere in the middle. I do. And I think it's insane for people to be losing their minds and getting angry over this on one side or the other. I do. I still like Rand Paul and Thomas Massie. Still like Scott Bessent and Stephen Miller. Still like Elon Musk. Still like Donald Trump. Nice out. The tariff revenue, though, is an excellent point. He says over this 10-year window, they could be taking in $2.8 trillion in tariffs. We just had record tariff revenue in May. It was like $22 billion. Again, Scott Bessent has jabbed at Rand Paul about the tariffs. We all know that Rand Paul is not a fan of tariffs. But the revenue that's coming in is going to be real. $2.8 trillion over 10 years. That actually puts the bill in the surplus, says Scott Bessent, if you count the tariff revenue. But they won't do that. Again, this just leads me to lean towards the White House as saying the CBO numbers are a bit off. There wasn't all serious. It wasn't all big, beautiful bill. It wasn't all China. It wasn't all, the serious stuff while they're in the White House. They also asked about Tim Walz. Tim Walz, the governor from Minnesota. This is what Donald Trump had to say about Tim Walz moments ago in the Oval Office.
I think I would have won. Susie would say I would have won Pennsylvania easily anyway, even if the governor ran, the real governor, not the governor from Minnesota, he's a sick puppy, that guy. That poor guy, I feel sorry for him. But they made a bad choice with him.
Yeah, they did. That was an understatement of the year. Is Tim Walz the worst choice for vice presidential candidate in the history of vice presidential candidates? I mean, from the jump with Tim Walz, we dug up all the BLM stuff from Minnesota. We dug up the stolen valor. We dug up how he left his troops hanging. The overall soy boy attitude from Tim Walz, the fact that they were trying to go after men with Tim Walz, he couldn't load a shotgun while duck hunting. The worst. And this is coming from a party, the Democrats, who chose Tim Kaine as the vice presidential candidate. Tim Walz may be the worst vice presidential candidate in the history of vice presidential candidates. I think that had they chosen someone like Josh Shapiro, we might have had a different conversation, just because, Josh was at least competent in some way. Tim Walz, what an absolute mess. So Donald Trump is still in the Oval Office. They're still talking with the media. This is probably going to go on for hours with Trump inside the Oval Office. They're now talking about Elon Musk and how they've had a great relationship. And he said this about Joe Biden and open borders moments ago. I'm kind of reacting to these clips in real time as they become available. This is Trump talking about Biden and how the questions about the auto pen and more. There's a lot of questions about the auto pen today. Donald Trump pushing for an investigation, ordering an investigation via his DOJ.
Mr. on Biden, Mr. President?
Yeah, Biden. You say Biden.
Your predecessor dismissed your auto pen investigation. He said he made all the decisions during his presidency. I'm curious your reaction to his dismissal.
Well, look, the auto pen, I think, is the big scandal outside of the rigged election of 2020. I think the biggest scandal of the last many years is the auto pen. And who's using it? I happen to think I know, okay, because I'm here. And I'm not a big auto pen person, fortunately. I'm glad. I'm very glad. It's an easy way out. But it's a very bad thing, very dangerous. I sign important documents. Usually when they put documents in front of you, they're important. Even if you're signing ambassadorships and I consider that important. I think it's inappropriate. You have somebody that's devoting 4 years of their life or more to being an ambassador. I think that person deserves to get a real signature, not an auto pen.
Yeah, I agree with that. So Donald Trump has pushed his DOJ to investigate Joe Biden and the use of the auto pen. I'll tell you a little bit more about that investigation. Plus, we'll play you the rest of Donald Trump's comments when we get back. It's 11:23. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. One of the biggest misconceptions about health insurance is that you can only switch it during open enrollment. Oh, make sure you know when open enrollment is so you can start saving some money. It's not really the reality. See, Shane can help you start saving money on your health insurance today. You don't have to wait for open enrollment. And there's a new plan on the market that will bring your deductible down to just $250. That's right, not $5,000, not $8,000, just $250. And you don't have to wait for open enrollment to switch and start saving money right now. Shane's been doing this for over 20 years. He can break this all down for you, and he's shopping the entire market, over 75 companies, to find the best fit for your budget and your health needs. And it doesn't matter whether you're self-employed, between jobs, or just plain old overpaying for coverage. Shane can help you. He can easily save you 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums. Stop overpaying. Call Shane Ring today, 615-465-0023. That's 615-465-0023. Affordable, quality coverage managed by you, not the government. CoverNash.com.
President Trump taking questions at the White House, and the U.S. Supreme Court has handed down a unanimous ruling in a reverse discrimination case. These stories at more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 11:28, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, real quick, just a reminder, this Saturday, Right to Life Rutherford, we're having a pretty big party down there in Murfreesboro, Barfield Crescent Park, starting at 11 a.m., celebration of life and truth. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's hosted by Tennessee Right to Life Rutherford. I'm going to be there. Turning Point USA is going to be there. Paul Vaughn, who is a pro-life advocate that was pardoned by President Trump, is going to be there and speaking. And it's going to be fun for the whole family. We're going to have bluegrass music. We're going to have food. There's going to be a kids zone. And there's going to be some great speakers. We want you out there. Totally free to attend. If you're in the borough, come see me on Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., Barfield Crescent Park. We're going to be hanging out. Pavilion 7, in case you need the exact locations. Pavilion 7. But we're going to be out there. We're going to be having some fun. Definitely want you to join. Also, another event that we need you at, June 17th. That is our mid-year review. That's happening at King's Dining and Entertainment in Cool Springs. Murphy is going to be doing his entire show out there starting at 3 o'clock. The rest of us are going to start rolling in. I'll probably get there early. I'll probably be there like 4 or 5-ish. Chad's going to be there. Dan's going to be there. The entire WTN crew. And we're going to review the first 6 months of the Trump presidency with you. Free event, free to join. We want you there. Details for that are at 997WTN.com. So 2 events this Saturday. Celebration of Life and Truth with Right to Life Rutherford. We definitely want you there. Barfield, Crescent Park, Murfreesboro. And then June 17th, mid-year review with the entire Super Talk 99.7 WTN gang at King's Dining and Entertainment. When we return, it is time for the lightning round. We got lightning sound effects ready to go. Are you ready with the lightning, Mason? Hit it. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. So we got the lightning round coming up next. If you got any last-minute hot takes about anything that we talked about today, you are welcome to join us for the lightning round at 615-737-9986. Plus, I'll be running through all the random stories that I didn't have time to get to and stories that wouldn't really last enough for a full segment. Lightning round happens next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We may not need a sound effect here pretty soon, Brother Chris. We've got some pretty strong thunderstorms out to the west of us moving this way. Might be a little lightning in that.
Lightning round headed our way.
Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. President Trump's hosting Germany's chancellor at the White House, and he's taking questions from the media, including this one about the new travel ban in light of recent terrorist attacks by foreign nationals on our soil.
Why now? I can say that it can't come soon enough, frankly. We want to keep bad people out of our country.
Now, Egypt is one of the countries that is not on the list, even though that is where the Boulder, Colorado attacker is from.
Egypt has been a country that we deal with very closely. They have things under control.
That ban set to take effect on Monday. U.S. Supreme Court handing down a ruling in a reverse discrimination case. James Samples, a constitutional law expert at Hofstra University, telling ABC News the court sided with Marlene Ames, an Ohio woman, alleging reverse discrimination because she is white and straight.
At least with respect to federal discrimination law, the court is saying this is no longer 1981. The same standards need to apply. And to be clear, this does not mean that Ames wins her case. It just means she gets another chance to press the case without that hurdle.
Yeah, this ruling was unanimous for Ames, who claims her gay boss declined to promote her because she's straight. President Trump spoke with President Xi of China this morning.
President Trump says he spoke to China's President Xi for an hour and a half on Thursday, calling it a very good phone call that, quote, resulted in a very positive conclusion for both countries. The president didn't get specific on what was agreed to, but did write in a social media post that there would no longer be any questions on what he called the complexity of rare earth products. The Trump administration has accused China of not holding up its end of the agreement made last month in Geneva. The U.S. says China is slow-walking exports of those critical minerals used in production of cars and semiconductors. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock store. We had a big open house last Saturday, which I'm still kicking myself that I wasn't able to attend. But Mason was there. You had a good time?
Yeah, you're a bit of a slacker. We had so much fun. Dude, go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
I was going to say, dude, we had so many people show up. It was kind of nuts. I knew a lot of people show up for these things. It's kind of cool to see how many people showed up for it, though.
Were there any wives there doing Father's Day shopping, you think?
Ooh, I bet. Being sneaky behind them while they were talking to us, maybe sneaking off, looking at some of the other booths.
I've been subtly dropping hints.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so like I have a bunch of Burrow bullets at the house.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll leave like one little 9mm out. And she's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "I don't know. I keep losing my bullets. Maybe I could use some more for Father's Day."
More to lose?
More to, hey, if you need ammo, you need firearms, the best place to go is the Glock store. If you got a guy in your life, a dad, somebody that needs a firearm, get it at the Glock store. Get it for Father's Day or get him a great training session. You can book that at shoot270.com or you can always shop online, glockstore.com. Remember, the Glock store is minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. 11:38, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We've started a new thing every day during this segment. We are officially calling this the lightning round. Oh, yeah. You like that? You like that?
That's a good sound.
I know you like that. Who doesn't like the lightning round?
That's good lightning right there,
Yeah,
man.
lightning, baby, lightning. Anytime I say lightning, I need lightning. That's what we're talking about. So we have our cheesy sound effects. So step one has been accomplished. Lightning round. All right. Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. You like that? I know you do.
Careful, brother. You're about to Dan Mandis this thing.
No. I'm not gonna. All right. First story in the lightning round. George Clooney. By the way, before I get to the first story in the hold on. Before I get to the first story in the lightning round, there you go. Before I get to the first story in the lightning round, you are welcome to join the lightning round. If you have any last-minute hot takes that you can get to in 30 seconds or less, and you want to weigh in on anything that we've talked about or anything we haven't, this is your time to do so. 615-737-9986. It's the lightning round. Come on, lightning round. There we go. It's a work in progress. We're going to get better. First story in the lightning round. George Clooney says after Donald Trump, MAGA is going to be dead.
Do you think Trumpism lasts beyond this term?
Don't think so. I think it'd be very hard to do it. Remember this. Donald Trump is a celebrity. That's what he is. I mean, he's got he has a star on Hollywood Boulevard. I don't have a star on Hollywood Boulevard. I'm not lobbying for one. I'm just saying,
It seems like an oversight, by the way.
What's going on? He's a celebrity, and he's the president of the United States, and so he has been elected, duly elected, fair deal. I'm not complaining about that. That's how it works. That's how this democracy works. But he's also a celebrity, and he is charming, and to the people who like him, they think he's funny. To a great many others, they don't. And so when he is finished, and he will be finished, they're going to have to go looking for someone who can deliver the message that he delivered with the same kind of charisma, and they don't have that.
We don't have that. We don't. Have you met J.D. Vance? Have you heard of that? Actually, the one thing the Republicans have more than anything is a bench, and we got a strong bench of individuals coming up in the Republican Party. One of the things that always scared them about Trump the most wasn't just Trump. It was about who Trump was going to inspire. It's not about this Trump. It's about the next Trump. And we have many people in the pipeline that could step up and fill that role. And who says no to a J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio ticket in 2028? George Clooney is wrong. He thinks MAGA is going to be dead after Donald Trump, and he also thought Joe Biden was alive during his last term. So he doesn't know what he's talking about whatsoever. But we got more stories to get to. This is the lightning round. Yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about. All right. The next story in the lightning round, we got plenty. We got plenty. If you want to join the lightning round, 615-737-9986. This one's fun, and I don't want to have too much fun in the lightning round. But this is a fun one. You got kids, you got grandkids. The White House is announcing via the Second Lady a summer reading challenge. If your kids read 12 books, the White House is going to send them a prize, and they could be entered to win a tour of the White House.
So this program comes from a number of sources. As you know, I'm the mother of 3 children, all of whom are about to embark on summer vacation themselves. And I've been seeing the data about how there's been a lot of reading loss. Literacy rates are declining, and children are really just not reading as much as they used to. So I've been really motivated to try to do something about that. And so the Summer Reading Challenge is my first attempt to try to make a little bit of a difference in this area. The goal of the Summer Reading Challenge is just to have children from all over the country read this summer. Mm-hmm. And if they do that and they tell me about it, then we'll send them a little prize and enter them into a drawing to come visit the White House, and hopefully they'll have some fun doing it and pick up more books after that.
I mean, listen, it's pretty cool. My son, I sent him sent my wife the message about this morning when I saw it, and she sent me back a picture. She said Brooks already picked out his 12 books and printed out the instructions. That kid is angling for a victory and getting a White House tour. happy with that. I'm fine with it. I love it. If you got kids, grandkids, this is a fun way to do it this summer. All right, let's keep going. Lightning round, baby. A lot of people waiting on the line. They want to weigh in with their own lightning round hot takes. So let's go to Cran in Silverport. You're up first on the lightning round.
Well, I wanted to talk about how people don't listen to your topics.
Okay.
But my second child, I gave up for adoption, and it was wonderful because I got to pick the family, and they gave him a new home. We left the hospital together, and Dolly Parton insisted on sending books to my house after I had given my child up for adoption, and I was like, please, could I sent a letter back, could you please not send these books to my house? This is really hurtful. I gave the child up for adoption. This is not my child anymore. I don't need children's books. And I love Dolly Parton so much. But
yeah.
But it was just
Yeah, that's tough. I'm sorry to hear that, Cran, and thank you for the call during the lightning round. We got Russ in Cedarville up next on the fan favorite lightning round. You got anytime I say lightning round, I need lightning. We need more lightning, more lightning. Yeah, it's got to be thunderous. What's up, Russ? What do you got?
Hey, Chris. People need to be calling their senators. We want to get the SHORT Act added to this reconciliation bill, and we need to make sure that the Hearing Protection Act gets preserved in the reconciliation bill. We have a generational opportunity to dismantle the NFA and to get our gun rights back.
Okay,
and
so
we really need to be able to get silencers without all the BS and nonsense.
All right, I love that. The SHORT Act is officially titled the Stop Harassing Owners of Rifles Today Act. What do we know? What do you know about it in particular, Russ?
It will remove short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, and any other weapon category from the National Firearms Act.
All right.
It'll eliminate the tax stamp. There's no registration. They'll just be treated like any other firearm. And it's the same thing with the Hearing Protection Act and suppressors. It'll just be a background check just like you're buying a gun.
I love it, Russ. Thanks for calling in during the lightning round, my man. This is exactly what we needed for the lightning round. If you want to support the SHORT Act, call your senator. More calls on the lightning round happening right now. Robert in Lebanon, you're up next on the lightning round. What's up?
Yeah, I think we need to stop using the phrase reverse discrimination.
Okay.
It's either discrimination or it's not discrimination. Let's stop using an archaic phrase. You're either being discriminated against or you're not.
And this is in relation to the story that Ken Weaver's been doing in the news, where the straight woman was passed over by her gay boss for a job because she had the audacity of also liking dudes.
Yeah, how dare she?
How dare she?
I agree with that. I agree. It's just discrimination.
It's not reverse discrimination.
Exactly.
It is discrimination.
Exactly.
Robert in Lebanon, thanks for joining the lightning round, my man. The lightning gets better every time. It gets better every time. It's going to be good until it's not, and then it's going to be bad for a while, and then it's going to get good again, I promise. James in Sparta, you're up next on the lightning round. What's up, James? What do you got?
Hey, I was wondering why you haven't been talking about the Patriot games that President Trump was talking about with the high school kids all across the nation. He's doing this thing for us, all of the high school kids, all across the nation, and I just think it's important to talk about that.
Can you give me a little bit more info? I just Googled it while I was on the phone with you, and all I have is pictures of Harrison Ford.
Oh, well, he came on and gave a big speech about how important it was that he was going to have the whole year of Patriot games for the high school kids. maybe I'll get into it and I'll get back with you.
Yeah, man, I'll do some digging too. I appreciate you calling in during the lightning round, James. Thank you so much. This is what we're doing here every day at this time. We're going to be doing the lightning round, where you get to call in with your last minute hot takes, and then I'll bring you some stories that we didn't really get to in the stack. Maybe it wasn't a story worthy of an entire segment, or maybe we just didn't have enough time, but we want to hit it real quick. Here's a story that I wanted to hit in the lightning round. This is lightning round worthy, I assure you. The Army has hit its 2025 recruiting goal 4 months early. I wonder what that has anything to do with. You don't think that that's President Trump's doing, do you? You don't think that's Secretary Pete Hegseth, do you? This is a pretty cool story. The U.S. Army has reached its active duty recruiting goal for fiscal year 2025 4 freaking months ahead of schedule. 61,000 new soldiers have signed contracts. They say this achievement represents a significant turning point for the Army and indicates a renewed sense of patriotism and purpose among America's youth, the Army said in a statement on Tuesday. The 2025 goal marked a 10% increase from the previous year's target of 55,000, and we are not even finished yet. Again, this is what happens when you have strong leadership inside the White House. This is what happens when you have someone who values the troops as your commander-in-chief, not somebody who's going to check their watch as the bodies of the fallen are returned home. Things have changed around here. These recruiting goals, they show it. This is the lightning round, in case you weren't paying attention. Any last-minute stories that we need to get to, we'll get to it during the lightning round. We'll also get to your last-minute hot takes. Murphy in the Borough, you're up next on the lightning round. What's up, Murphy?
Chris, it's so electrifying to be here this morning with you.
I love it. What do you got, man?
Drive-through car washes that are everywhere now, where you drive through. There needs to be – I almost got in a catastrophic wreck this morning because somebody doesn't know how to go. They need to have one right next to it so you can practice on what the heck you're doing. It's electrified.
Murphy, how fast are you driving through those drive-through car washes to be in a catastrophic accident? Murphy hung up. I feel like that's a Murphy problem. I'm just letting you know. And I wish you were still on the line to debate me. But catastrophic? That sounds like a Murphy problem, doesn't it? Is that just me?
Maybe he's driving a Bentley.
Maybe. Yeah, any ding or dent in that would be catastrophic for sure. All right, that does it for the lightning round today. But we're going to be doing this every day this time. And I think today was pretty successful. How many lightning strikes do we get? We need a lightning strike tally during the lightning round. Mason's shaking his head back there because I've just made this incrementally harder on him. Not only do you have to hit it anytime I say lightning round, anytime I say lightning round, I'm also going to need you to count how many lightning bolts we get. If the weather guys can do it, we can do it. It's 11:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:55, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Thank you again for everybody joining us for the newly named lightning round last segment.
Lightning.
You got it. No, I know it's not the segment anymore, but I said lightning round. Mason,
Fire.
I said lightning round. Guys, there's.
Attention.
Thank you. That's it.
That feels like thunder round.
Okay, listen, Chad, that's enough. That's.
I mean, have you ever?
That's enough.
Is that what lightning sounds like? Because that sounds like thunder.
It reminds me of the fact that whenever you need an eagle sound, people go to Hawk.
Yeah.
Because the eagle sound is a little bit too.
Well, yeah. Hotel California. I get it.
Yeah.
So.
So yes, all right. It's the thunder round.
Thunder round.
You don't do it when he says it. Only when I say it.
It's too late now.
What do you got going on, man? What's up?
Nothing. What's going on with you?
Not much.
I'm watching the Trump and Elon fight. They're like Godzilla and King Kong if they were high school girls.
I don't understand. Okay, so Trump did come out and he's like, I think Elon was mad about the EV mandate. And I'm like, that's just BS. You lost so much value in your companies by jumping in. You donated so much of your money to help Republicans get elected. There is no part of me that believes Elon is mad because he lost the EV mandate.
Yeah, he's mad because it's big and beautiful. But he just tweeted out or X'd out or whatever the hell you call it. He goes, fine, keep your no EV mandates, but why'd you keep subsidies for the oil and gas companies? So, he's perturbed because he goes, I came in, I did all this work, I did everything, and you guys, you guys seem to just toss me aside, and you're not doing anything different. You're still giving money to the same groups that you said you didn't want to give money to. So what was I doing? Wasting my time.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I don't think it's a beef in the way the media is trying to frame it.
No, I think. Well, Trump said I don't think we'll be friends anymore. Yeah. And then he shot back. Whatever. I'm like, it's like 5-year-olds. Whatever. I'm taking my ball and going home. Yeah. Okay. So mom and dad are fighting. We're gonna leave, but you can't put King Kong and Godzilla in the room and not expect them to fight at some point in time.
Yeah, I still don't. I think it's more of a disagreement than a fight.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, once they pass the bill, though, here's the thing. I think Elon's done with the politics, but his platform is so massive.
Yep.
And not just Trump, whether or not Trump's worried that he's going to do something. You got to think about it. If you're these Congress people and senators, that platform is huge.
Huge.
And what he could do
for you or against
you is massive. Like his this is disgusting and whatever he said. They got like 110 million views.
Yeah. Well, and people are already like plotting on the internet. They're like, ooh, imagine a Rand Paul, Thomas Massey ticket backed by Elon.
Yeah, it's possible. Although Elon might just say, screw it, I'm done with you guys at all.
There's a very good possibility.
At all. But it's hard because you have to walk a fine line of you need government contracts. And so it's that weird situation. But I understand. I think he's rightfully angry that this bill didn't achieve any of the things that they said they were going to achieve as they ran around saying we need to do all these things. And, Trump really wants these tax cuts. That's great. How about no tax cuts for the wealthy and pass even more of that off to the middle class?
But the big issue is that what they're hanging on is that the CBO projections. They're saying you're looking at the CBO projection and taking it as gospel.
Yeah, but I looked at the other 7 done from everybody from Penn Wharton to the Tax Foundation, many others, and they all have it anywhere between $1.5 billion and $3 billion. So, trillion. So that's a lot. Either way, 7. I see the CBO. Okay, but what about the other 7? You're not bringing to the table all your evidence.
But I would like to see
like this.
I would like to see what their predictions were on other things then at the same time. Because if you look at the CBO, their predictions on the Inflation Reduction Act were way off.
Yeah.
Their predictions on Obamacare enrollees way off.
But, they get it right early by the stuff that I've done, but long term, they don't get it right. And the thing is, 3 years from now, if there's a new president and a new administration, even if it's Republicans, they may want to pivot away from some of this stuff. So it's really the first 2 years you got to look at it. However long this thing is going to be pushed through, that's what you have to look at because everything else can be changed.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting indeed. But watching them fight, whatever. Who types whatever?
It's fun to watch. It sure is. Chad's in next, 12 o'clock, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.